some of our greatest sense of accomplishment is when I go to the doctor, I see a North Shore graduate. And if I need an attorney, I see a North Shore graduate. Or if I need to go to an engineer, maybe I see a Galena Park graduate.
Big thanks to Practice Plan for allowing us to use their booth today. If you are needing revenue in quick and an efficient manner, you need to reach out to Practice Plan. Easy, seamless facility rental. Thank you to John and the team for allowing us to be here. Welcome back to another episode of The Path Forward here in Austin, Texas, TASA Midwinter 2025. I have a very, very special guest, the guest I've been looking forward to for quite some time. He is the superintendent of Galena Park ISD, my home, North Shore High School, where I graduated from. I am so pleased to have Dr. John Moore on the show. Dr. Moore, welcome to the show.
Hey, well, thanks, Rick. And forgive me if I call you Ricky. You know, that's how I know you, Ricky Fernandez.
There will be a lot of people would love to hear you call me that, so I can get some, calls and texts. And so you call me whatever you want.
All right. Well, you're Ricky Fernandez to me.
That's fine. I'm already hearing the giggles in my head.
I know you're Dr. Rick Fernandez, but you'll always be Ricky to me.
Hey, that's fine. So happy to have you here and just so proud of the work that's going on and that has gone on for such a long time in Galena Park. You've been there quite some time. You've seen the great things. When you think about it, what is the crux of Galena Park and why has it been so strong for so long?
Well, I think that we're kind of a community within a city, and I think because of the geographic location and the kind of way the river's set up and the interstate set up, the whole system, it kind of makes us a small town within a big city. And, everybody kind of knows everybody. And so we get some of the benefits of small town USA and we get the benefits of big city USA. And I don't think that there's a lot of places like that anymore. Right. So, and a lot of people stay home there. Mm-hmm. So our school district has a lot of super experienced employees that have been there their entire careers or most of their careers. And there's a lot of benefit that we don't have to reteach things. Everybody kind of knows our way of doing things. Many, many years ago when you were actually in school, we had a superintendent, Dr. Neely, who set forth some expectations that have ridden through 4 superintendents now, with all of us kind of having the same kind of expectations. And I think the community and the kids particularly have really benefited. And, we get a few accolades along the way, but it's really not about us and the accolades. It's really more about the success of the kids.
Sure.
So, and, we've had a lot of we've had a lot of really successful children, now adults, come out of that community, and they may not live there anymore, but they're all watching all the time.
That's 100% right. There's not a minute that goes by during the year if I'm not checking in just to see how we're doing.
That's right.
It's a huge source of pride for me and for my brother and our family, and we tell those stories quite frequently. To all the kids and all the coaches that I've ever met, athletic directors, and I actually got a chance to take my father-in-law, this was a couple of years back, to a playoff game, and Coach Sebo we were on the sideline, and I wanted my father-in-law to see, because he was an excellent athlete, I wanted him to see and experience what that's like. Sure. And so the kids were coming out, and I think it was the year that we won state, and it was, I can't remember who's running back, and
Zach Evans.
It was Zach, and quarterback was Demetrius. Yep.
We call him D, but yeah, Demetrius.
And so we're standing right there, and the kids are coming out of the tunnel, and my father-in-law is just looking, and I'm slapping a couple of them on the shoulders, and he's like, "Hey, who's this college team coming through here right now?" I said, I know. Right. But it was an amazing experience. Now you had a great history there, but tell a little bit about your career. What was your path to the superintendency?
So I landed in Galena Park in 1990, and I'm there because of my wife and sister. They were the ones hired there. And when I originally went for a job interview, the guy at HR told me he'd get me on at Walmart. He said, "I think I can get you on at Walmart." I said, "Man, I have a science certification. You can't get me a job. I want to coach, but you can't get me a job." So I ended up getting a job at a middle school, and I stayed there for quite some time. I coached there, and uh, then I became assistant principal, and then the principal, and then I went over to the high school as principal, and from there I went to central office and was in operations. I built a bunch of
Yes.
schools, and I shouldn't say we built a bunch of schools,
Right.
and then now I'm superintendent, and it's 35 years later.
That's amazing. I always get a little bit of a ribbing because, we've got a bunch of campuses, and they're like, "You think they'll ever build another high school out there?" I was like, "Ain't
No,
no way." And if they start talking about it, I'll be down there like, "No, guys, like we can figure this out. We can figure this out. Well, what do we
right.
need to do? We need some RV park. How do we need to structure this? Like we'll figure it out." But that's always a little bit of
Right.
a joke from some other folks around the area. You know, the athletics is such a huge part of it, but I think what sometimes get lost, and I always try to bring it up in conversation, there's a lot of academic excellence and fine
Sure,
art excellence.
sure.
And
So
yeah, just please.
we're really proud of our fine arts program. We have huge numbers of kids participating. Matter of fact, we got a group performing here today at 2 o'clock.
Really?
Yeah, at 2 o'clock, right there in the general session. We'll have some of our North Shore band kids in there today.
Very cool.
And they're super good. So, and we compete hard in everything, not just, everybody knows North Shore football, but we have Galena Park, and they compete hard, and their band and fine arts programs just as good as North Shore's, and we're really proud of those kids too. And everybody
Absolutely.
works really hard. And then academically, we've been doing well for a long, long time.
long time.
A long time. And they didn't give scores this year, but we know what ours would have been if they would have given it, and we'd have been really proud of it. Been about 87, and I
Sure.
think most people in the state of Texas take 87 this year.
I would
And-
get all of them would take an 87 this year.
And we have a blue collar working class community.
Mhm.
So our children are not all born, reading at super high levels. We work hard, and they perform.
Yes, sir.
And some of our greatest sense of accomplishment is when I go to the doctor, I see a North Shore graduate, and if I need an attorney, I see a North Shore graduate. Or if I need to go to an engineer, maybe I see a Galena Park graduate. We have architects. If we need an architect,
That's
we
right.
see a Galena Park graduate. So, that's our greatest source of pride. I know people think it's all about winning a game here and there, getting a ring, and that's all great. We don't turn that kind of stuff down.
Absolutely.
But the real reward is seeing the success of children that come from a working class community that are doing exceptionally. When I mean well, I mean exceptionally well. I'm talking like, living life in a whole different world than they grew
Absolutely.
up in. Owners of Chick-fil-A.
Case in point. Yeah.
Owners of Chick-fil-A, owners of big businesses, and they're just blue collar East Side kids that worked hard.
You're absolutely right. And a lot of my friends that I graduated, the exact same situation as me and my family, and don't have everything, but know that if you put the work in, you got some good people along the way helping you. Great things can happen. I thought you were about to go to the card of if I need to get out of a speeding ticket, I know the judge.
Yeah, I know him too.
I was about to say.
Yeah, I know him too.
Like,
but yeah.
Joe, where can I don't want to, I'll slow down. Just tell me where I need to be. I thought you were about to throw that on him. So, but just an unbelievable community there. What do you see are some of your greatest moments, and not even that it was something that you were overseeing, but just to be there and just like, wow, this is just unbelievable.
Well, so obviously we get test scores every year, and whether people want to say it or not, it's a competition.
Sure.
And we want to compete, and when they start talking about us in the same sentences with Highland Parks and Lake Travis's and
Yeah.
Austin Westlakes, and we're not talking about sports, we're talking about test scores. There's a little bit of pride
There's
there
just a
on
lot
our
of
end. Yeah,
pride.
there's a little bit of pride, and we like to compete, and we don't like to lose. And uh, I tell people, if you work hard and you love the people you work with, and you have a lot of passion for success, you can pretty much be successful no matter what the competition is. And sometimes, we have a little bit higher hill to climb,
Hmm.
but that's okay.
Yeah.
I'll take my kids and we'll climb it.
Oh, 100%. One thing that you really can't put a value on is kids having some adversity and finding the way through that adversity, right? We've all got great teachers, mentors that have to
Sure.
help us along the way. And I would never change anything about, you know, where I'm from, how I grew up. It was the reason that I'm successful is because I had those people in my life,
Sure.
teachers and coaches all along the way in the community that was so supportive of the school district.
Now, you had a basketball coach that's pretty hard on you, didn't you?
He was, but he was real hard.
But he loved you.
Yes, and that is as a kid you're hoping that your kids get to that realization sooner rather than later. And sometimes it took me a little bit to figure that out. That he saw the potential in me. He wasn't going to let me do less than what I was capable
Yeah.
of.
So he's still that same kind of guy. I see him from time to time. Randy's doing well out here. So
Yeah, Coach Randy Weisinger, shout out to Coach. I mean, so many great memories from basketball and just an unbelievable experience. What's on the horizon for Galena Park
well,
ISD?
we got a lot going. So I don't know if you know, but we passed about a $500 million
I
bond
saw
last
that.
May, and Galena Park High School, as you well know, you're from the community. Galena Park High School is a little on the older side. I think it's getting close to 90 years
It's.
old. And so
I was waiting on that centennial celebration.
yeah, so we're going to try to have a new facility there for that centennial celebration. So we're about to get rolling and do some major. When I'm telling you major renovations, I'm talking about a new school kind of major renovations
Nice.
at Galena Park High School. And we have Cimarron's going to get some work done.
That's
We'll
my,
probably
that's
do
my
it.
elementary.
Yeah, we're going to do some. Well, that'll be a new building. Green Valley will have some work done. So we got a lot going on from a facility standpoint, and of course, as well as I do, CTE, Career and Technology Education, is changing faster than you can keep up with. So,
Yes, sir.
so we're making all kinds of adjustments in our programs for our kids to make sure they have a fair and best opportunity to compete, and at the same time, enjoy school. School's got to be a little bit fun, man.
Yes.
Of course, I've been around long enough to watch you come through, and you came to school because you like basketball, man. So we have to provide all that stuff and make school fun and enticing, so all of our children want to participate, and then we got to teach them a little something along the way,
That's right.
so they're prepared for their next whatever their next stop is, whether it's work or the military or they're going to college, whether it's Ohio State they're going to or Texas they're going to, or Harvard,
That's right.
MIT. Wherever it is, they have to be ready for that next step. So we're working on all that simultaneously.
Wow. That $500 million. Why that? Thinking back and just thinking back to the school buildings I grew up in and where it is now. We were at the new high school. I new to me, right? Because I went to the old high school, but seeing how beautiful and just the and my kids were like, "This is where you went to school." I was like, "No, I was a little too old to get." But
Yeah, I was at the old one down the street.
Yeah, right? But I loved it. I loved every
So that building you were in is 20 years old. The new building's 20 years old.
It was huge. I mean, I was like, "This is nice. This is nice."
The new building's 20 years old. So the old building, you can imagine, is really old, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's great. That's great for the Galena Park community as well. That their kids are going to have a brand new facility over there, and the CTE work. I mean, that's kids going out in the workforce, making six figures, no college debt. Man, that transition. There's a lot of shift going on.
Oh, sure.
Kids and families.
A lot of money.
A lot of money.
A lot of money in the blue collar world of CTE.
There is no doubt, and I'm just seeing it talking to other superintendents, not only in Texas but around the country. There is a massive shift going on in terms of job opportunity versus weighing college and debt and length of experience and all of those
Sure.
different things. So, um, who are some of your leaders that you poured into that you're most proud of in your tenure?
So my answer may be surprising to you, but the leaders that have kept Galena Park, I'll talk about that
Okay.
first. That have kept Galena Park, what you know, are our board members, and they're very unassuming. They are not people that are out using their platform for political purposes. They use their platform to take care of children.
That's
And in
right.
today's world, that's very different than most places.
100%.
And they work together as a team. There's 7 of them. They all have individual ideas. They all have individual values.
Sure.
And they're not all the same, and that's okay. But nobody would ever know that.
That's fantastic.
So the reality is those 7 people, and through the years they've changed, but you've just seen the results, right? And so there's probably, through those last 20 years, there's probably been about, I don't know, I'm guessing maybe 20 different board members in those roles, but they've all done their job as a board member and not used that position politically, which is really, really special.
What do you attribute that to? Because that's an anomaly. That doesn't happen anywhere else.
I attribute that to the leadership of the community members that were on the board. And there's several different people that have been those leaders over time, but when they get in there and they figure out how it's supposed to work, they all seem to get in line and do it the right way. And, for the superintendents, and like I said, I can speak for Dr. Neely and Dr. Henry and Dr. Williams and then me, we're the benefactor of that. And so, it turns into like the greatest job in America because everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing and you're not having to police your bosses.
That's right.
And so that's number one. And when you talk about who you pour into, well, I can name a lot, but I'll just give you a couple. So our head football coach is Willie Gass. Willie was my student. And so, I would like to think I poured into him, and now I'm proud of what he's accomplished. There's not just one of those, though.
Right.
I got a whole school district full of ex-students that are working for us. James Klein works in our HR office. He was a student of mine. I mean, I can just go on and on and on, kid after kid after kid. It's been extremely rewarding to see all of that. My wife was also an administrator for a long time in our district, and almost everywhere we go, one of the 2 of us knows somebody. And she'll be talking to somebody, and I'll say, well, who was that? And she'll say, oh, that was so-and-so. Don't you remember? And I'm like, oh, yeah. So, I mean, our entire life is consumed with people we've touched that are now out doing other things or helping us. Maybe I'm getting something done for me, and it's one of our ex-students, and I didn't recognize him, and she did. So it's been an incredibly good ride that has lots of rewards all the time.
It's almost like you created this grow your own, not necessarily intentionally from the start, but just the power of the community.
Sure.
It's kind of what all districts are trying to do.
25% of our teaching staff were ex-students.
Wow.
1 out of 4.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to be able to say.
And about 50% of our whole staff. So when you start putting in custodians, bus drivers, all the rest, so we have a lot of local people. They may not live in the community anymore.
Sure.
Maybe they live down the street and drive in, but they went to school there. So
that's pretty special there. That's awesome. I mean, and thanks to you and the community and everybody that's played a part in that. It gives me great pride to know that's happening. And it's going to continue. Okay, we can't end without a little bit of football talk. Give me some of your best football moments.
Well, obviously everybody likes winning, So
well, we've done a lot of that.
State championships are great.
But is there one play? I know the Hail Mary's got to be on there.
Well, the Hail Mary's really one of the best. But in that same game, the very first play from the game, Duncanville had the ball, and I don't remember what the play was, but we blitzed or something. We had a defensive end in the backfield on first play of the game. and we sacked the guy. They fumbled. We got the ball and scored a touchdown. So that play, and the young man that did its last name was Revels, and he was one of my kids, and he's a great kid. He went on and played, I think, at Texas State and I'm not sure if he's still playing. I know he was trying to get in the NFL, but he may be playing in another league somewhere. But I really remember that play because I was surprised. You know, I'd heard how good the other team was. I was a little nervous. In the first play, we made a big play. So I remember that one. And of course, you know, sometimes the greatest plays are not the ones everybody else remembers. You remember the Hail Mary. Well, how about the blocked field goal against Westlake in 2015
That was
to
crazy.
get us into overtime when they were
crazy.
about to kick a field goal and win the game? You know, so there's lots of great plays through the years, and you know, it's been a lot of fun.
It has been a tremendous amount of fun for me and for a lot of us, and a great sense of being able to rub it into a lot of people's faces over the years. You'd have thought I won the lottery on that Hail Mary. Like my wife, you know, and I'm trying to stream it on that streaming service. It's
Right.
kind of, you know, it's good, but sometimes it's not so good. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm screaming, and she's like, "What are you watching? Are you still watching the game, man?" Everybody's celebrating in the end zone. It was unbelievable, but it is such a special place, and I really appreciate you coming on and spending some
Sure.
time. And if the district, if I can ever do anything,
Sure.
all you have to do is ask. My grandmother still lives right there in Cloverleaf, and I got a lot of friends and family still there, and it's it's been such a blessing to me and to my family and to all of my friends and colleagues that were Mustangs with me. So I really appreciate. I'm indebted to the district and to all those people that helped me become who I am. So thank you sincerely for everything that y'all are
Yes,
doing.
sir. Yes, sir. And we appreciate you too, man, because you're one of those stories. You're one
Yeah.
of those success stories, man. So you're one of those rewards.
I appreciate that.
So
I appreciate
you know, we appreciate, you know, when you get out and work hard and you do good, all the people that touch you along the way get to stick their chest out and have a little pride. So keep it up, man.
Hey,
We're proud of
I'm
you.
gonna try. I love the district. I love you guys, and keep doing what y'all are doing. If you like what you heard and saw, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. And I want to thank Dr. John Moore for joining me. And I'm hoping that he'll be a reoccurring guest as we move on into 2025. Thank you, Doc, for
Yes,
joining
sir.
me.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
it.